Feel like you're always one step away from triggering an emotional landslide in your marriage? We're exploring the common causes that can lead to a narcissistic partner's emotional outburst. Arm yourself with knowledge and strategies to handle these situations with confidence. 1. Feeling ignored or overlooked. Imagine you're at a party. You're talking to friends, laughing, and enjoying your time, but you didn't notice your wife wanted attention, and now there's tension in the air. Narcissistic individuals often feel overlooked or ignored, and it can lead to a big meltdown. It's essential to understand that for them, the spotlight matters, and they don't like sharing it. 2. Criticism, no matter how constructive. Constructive feedback is often a gift in disguise, right? It's like that little nudge telling you, hey, here's a chance to be better. But for someone with narcissistic tendencies, it's a different ballgame altogether. To them, feedback can feel like you're undermining their very essence, their competence, and their worthiness. You're trying to gently suggest a new recipe, or perhaps a different way of managing finances, thinking you're being helpful. But instead of a nod or a thank you, the atmosphere becomes tense. It's because a narcissistic wife may perceive even well-intentioned advice as a hit to her ego. Navigating this terrain requires grace, understanding, and a lot of tact. 3. Perceived threats to self-image. Narcissists often have this highly polished self-image, almost like a fragile, ornate vase perched precariously on a ledge. Anything that threatens this image, like maybe not being the best at something or someone else taking the limelight, can result in a meltdown. Let's imagine your wife has baked the best chocolate cake for years, and suddenly someone else's cake becomes the talk of the town. Instead of enjoying the new flavour, she might take it as a personal affront, as if her entire worth has been called into question. Understanding this can help navigate these moments with empathy and finesse. 4. Perceived loss of control. At the heart of narcissism lies an intense need for control. And I'm not talking about the typical wanting things to go your way feeling. No. This is more profound. It's an intrinsic need to ensure the world operates according to their set rules and expectations. So let's set a scene. You decide to surprise your wife by redesigning the living room. You're thinking, she'll love this spontaneous act. But when she walks in and sees the change without her input, it's not gratitude or joy on her face, but shock and irritation. To her, this surprise might feel like you've pulled the rug from under her feet. Remember, for someone with narcissistic tendencies, control isn't just about power, it's about maintaining a carefully created world. 5. Diverted attention away from them. Narcissists love being the centre of attention. It's their comfort zone, their stage. Now, if for some reason the attention shifts away, even for a moment, it can feel like an ice-cold splash of water. Imagine you're recounting an exciting day at work, and she seems uninterested, or even annoyed. It's not necessarily about your story, it's more about the attention drifting away from her. The key here is to strike a balance. Sharing is caring, but with a narcissistic wife, it's also about ensuring she doesn't feel left in the shadows. 6. Reminders of past failures or mistakes. Narcissistic personalities tend to be extremely forward-facing. Their self-worth often hinges on maintaining a flawless image. Now, if something or someone reminds them of past mistakes or failures, be it a forgotten anniversary or a job they didn't get, it can stir up some pretty intense emotions. Imagine being in a casual conversation and you innocently bring up an old incident where things didn't go as planned. Instead of laughing it off, she might become defensive or distant. The key takeaway? Sometimes it's not about living in the past, but understanding its weight in the present. 7. Feeling outperformed or outshined. For a narcissistic wife, life can sometimes be a constant race, not just against others, but against their own inflated expectations. So, if they perceive someone else, especially someone close, like you, as outperforming them, it can be a tough pill to swallow. Think of it like this. She's always been the star baker in the family, and suddenly your cupcakes are getting all the praise. Instead of mutual celebration, it might trigger feelings of insecurity or envy. Compassion and understanding can be vital tools in such situations. 8. Changes or unexpected shifts. Change is inevitable, right? But for someone with narcissistic tendencies, unexpected changes can be a major trigger. Their world often thrives on predictability, and any deviation can feel like tectonic plates shifting. Maybe it's a sudden plan to move cities for your job, or a spontaneous weekend trip you planned. While spontaneity can be thrilling for many, for a narcissistic wife, it could signify chaos. Flexibility and communication are crucial in smoothing out these transitions. 9. Perceived personal flaws being highlighted. Nobody's perfect, but for narcissists, acknowledging personal flaws can be challenging. They often wear a cloak of perfection, and any tiny rip in that fabric can be distressing. So if something or someone, even inadvertently, points out a shortcoming, it's like a spotlight on their vulnerabilities. Say you casually mention they've been forgetful lately. Instead of a simple acknowledgement, it might spiral into a defensive conversation. Remember, it's not about tiptoeing around flaws, but navigating them with sensitivity. 10. Feeling misunderstood or misrepresented. Into the depths of emotions we go. For a narcissistic wife, feeling understood is paramount. Their narrative about themselves is often clear-cut and carefully crafted. Any deviation from that storyline, like misinterpreting their words or actions, can be like an unexpected storm. Imagine discussing a disagreement with friends, and she feels you haven't represented her side accurately. The aftermath? Likely a whirlwind of emotions. The solution? Active listening and open communication. 11. Feeling excluded or isolated. Picture a world where every room you'll walk into feels like an exclusive club, and occasionally you're not on the list. For a narcissistic wife, being part of the in-group is essential. They thrive on inclusion and acknowledgement. So when they feel excluded, even if unintentionally, like missing out on a close family decision or being the last to know about a significant event, it's not merely about being out of the loop. It's an existential crisis. It challenges their sense of importance and belonging. You might think, it was just a small thing. Why the big reaction? But for her, it's like a jigsaw puzzle with a missing piece, disturbingly incomplete. To circumvent this, it's essential to foster open channels of communication and ensure that she feels considered and included in significant discussions and decisions. 12. Identity challenges. Identity. It's a complex web of self-perception, values, and beliefs. For a narcissistic wife, their identity isn't just a part of them, it's often their anchor. Any challenge to this self-concept can feel like the ground is slipping beneath their feet. Let's craft a scenario. Perhaps she sees herself as the epitome of modern values, and then you share an article that conflicts with her views, suggesting a different perspective. Instead of a healthy debate, it might ignite a defensive wildfire. Why? Because it's not just a challenge to her views, it's a challenge to her identity. Navigating this requires a delicate balance of open-mindedness and understanding, coupled with reassuring affirmations. 13. Overwhelming stress or pressure. Life can sometimes be like a pressure cooker, wouldn't you agree? Especially in today's fast-paced world. Now, while we all face stress, for a narcissistic wife, it's not just about managing the pressure, it's about how that pressure impacts their self-worth. If they feel they're not handling situations with the grace and competence they believe they embody, it can lead to a meltdown. Maybe she's juggling work deadlines, family responsibilities, and personal commitments. To you, it's a regular Tuesday, but for her, every task is a performance, and any hint of faltering is a blow to her self-esteem. Recognising her stress and offering support, not as a saviour, but as a partner, can make a world of difference. 14. Imbalance in power dynamics. In every relationship, there's a give and take, a push and pull. But for a narcissistic wife, maintaining a sense of control and dominance is often paramount. If she perceives a shift in this balance, maybe you took charge of a situation she usually handles, or made a decision without consulting her. It's not just about the act, it's about the perceived imbalance. It challenges her role and her sense of control. While mutual respect and shared decision-making are essential, understanding her need for control and discussing power dynamics openly can pave the way for a harmonious balance. 15. Facing denial or contradiction. We all have our own personal truths and our perspectives, but for someone with narcissistic tendencies, their truth isn't just a viewpoint, it's the viewpoint. When this is contradicted or denied, It's not just a mere disagreement, it's an assault on their reality. Say she recalls an event in a certain way, painting herself as the hero, and you remember it differently. Instead of a casual, "oh, I saw it differently," it might explode into a "how dare you challenge my reality" scenario. In these moments, it's crucial to approach the situation with tact, validating her feelings while gently sharing your perspective. As we conclude our look into what triggers a narcissistic wife, you might be wondering what else there is to learn. Why not discover ways a narcissistic wife treats her husband, or explore how to break free from the narcissistic supply chain? Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more insights.